Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Positive feedback can help us feel better about the work we do and build our confidence. Now, I can imagine as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, you are in the business of helping your clients be, do, and have a happier existence. But who's looking after you? Who is looking after you? I know that as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner, you want to recognize and reward yourself, but that's usually not part of the game. Not a lot of us are recognizing and rewarding ourselves for all the job that we are doing. Nobody is coming to pat us in the back and say, oh my God, that is such an amazing podcast. Oh my God, that is such an amazing blog. Oh my God, that is such an amazing book that you've just written. That is such amazing consulting, training, information, and expertise that you have so much worked hard to achieve. No one recognizes you unless you do. So in this podcast, we're going to be talking about how to recognize and reward yourself in business. Otherwise, you're just going to be praying and spraying with your marketing, with your coaching, with your health, with your wealth and relationship advice out there and not actually getting rewarded for it. Okay? As you know, since you're working for yourself, you don't even get an annual review or a raise or maybe a bonus for a job well done. No one comes and pats you in the back for that latest client win, and no one tells you how indispensable you are or how much your work is valued. No one except you. Now, if you are obviously passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life while you're doing it, you obviously know you're in the right place with the Online Prosperity Experience. You know my mission is to help coaches and consultants like yourself that are inspired so you can build a brand that you're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. And part of it is about rewarding yourself. Every time you do something amazing, every time you do something that is out of this world, you have to be your own cheerleader. Otherwise, your brain is not going to notice or release any dopamine in order for it to continuously seek out those experiences that will continuously help you with your success. So we're going to be jumping into all of that, and I'm hoping that by you listening to this podcast, you're going to discover a brand new kind of business. You know, you will reimagine, you'll re-engineer and revamp everything you've been told that you have to do. And this type of business doesn't actually require you to be on the phone all day in order for you to realize the rewards of having a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And it doesn't require you to be constantly checking your email or having endless client meetings of people that don't even understand what it is that you're talking about. And in fact, you will actually empty your calendar as you earn more money than you can ever think of and be proud of the work that you're doing. But how does it start? It starts by you celebrating yourself. All right? From now on, I want to give you permission to celebrate everything. Celebrate your successes, celebrate your failures, just about everything else that comes your way in order to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So, celebrate. This three-syllable I was actually counting the letters on my head. 9-letter word is a familiar concept, yet relatively alien to a lot of people, especially the people that end up working with us on digital marketing. Okay, so you're like, who, me? Celebrate. is generally, a response to my question: how are you planning to acknowledge yourself on this accomplishment? So many of us are doing a lot. Okay, does this actually sound like your agency, that you spend most of your days working isolated by yourself, on a computer, maybe in a dark room, or you're the only one that's working late on a Sunday night when everybody else is taking it easy? Or do you find yourself having to check your email more than 20 times per day? Or do you even feel constantly tethered to your phone like it's an electronic leash? Or maybe your calendar is fully booked with people that just want to spend time asking you questions. And do you sometimes feel like working for yourself means that you have to do 100 different things for 100 different bosses? And at the end of the day, you end up in relationships that you don't even enjoy. It's a pretty thankless job, isn't it? Well, it doesn't have to be like that. If you celebrate every moment, if you celebrate every success that you are achieving, guess what? Your brain, which is a reward-seeking mechanism, will constantly be looking for opportunities that got you to celebrate, and you can literally, leverage the brain power that you have to seek out opportunities that will help you do and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Now, if you're lucky, obviously you get clients who maybe give you feedback after you've worked with them, but most of them, they don't, because you know why? A lot of people would rather give negative feedback than give any positive feedback, no matter how good the work has been done. Or maybe you are part of a mastermind group, and maybe you get an opportunity to hear feedback from the people that you congregate with. Half of the time, a lot of coaches and consultants, they don't get, that reciprocity that we so very much need in order for us to move on. Have you ever noticed when a kid is walking, we celebrate that moment? We're like, oh my God, keep walking, yeah. We even sing a song or things of that nature. Or when a dog is being a good animal, we're like, hey, he's a good dog, he's a good puppy. You know what I mean? We give that feedback and positive reinforcement. Who is giving you that positive reinforcement for you to go on in your business through and through? Because I know and I understand when people get started in business, their family might be understanding and supportive. Their wives might actually be just looking at them and thinking, well, we just need money. I don't care what you're doing. So all of that, no matter how good the work you're doing out there, you just feel like it's not enough. And when you start feeling like it's not enough, guess what? You don't produce enough. And when you don't produce enough, you become a statistic. That's the reason why a lot of businesses don't go past the 5-year mark, okay? And all we need is positive reinforcement. And if you're not going to get it from the people around you're going to have to learn to give it to yourself, okay? And, at the beginning of our work, the positive reinforcement might be few and far between, and you might need more to keep feeling motivated to do the work, okay? But just because you work for yourself doesn't mean you have to give up on the good feelings that come from recognition and rewards. You can actually develop a customized plan of your own to help you stay positive. This is what I do for myself, okay? I joined a whiskey club where they deliver a very nice whiskey every single month. And, you're given an option to add that whiskey to your cart every single month, okay? So I look at what I've done and I look if I have actually exceeded my goals. If I've exceeded my goals, I treat myself to a bottle of whiskey. And if I haven't, then I skip that month's whiskey. So my brain starts knowing, okay, so we didn't get that reward. So that means something did not add up. And then your brain goes in because it's a reward seeking mechanism. There's a cocktail of what do you call them? Are they called enzymes? Or it's dopamine and all of those juices that happen in your head that actually help you, seek out these goals. And once you have those hormones, that's the word I was looking for. You could have told me that. There you go. That's part of being on the online prosperity experience. We just go with the flow. Yes. So all these hormones, dopamine, and I'll find out the other words for them. When they show up in your brain, it's the feel good hormones. Okay, you need to constantly have those feel good hormones, and then they then translate to what you're actually doing there, and your brain starts seeking out more of the opportunities that release those sort of hormones. So you need to define what recognition and rewards actually mean to you. What are the things that actually excite you in order for you to be, do, and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable? One thing that I do normally every single day is the way I've tricked my mind to reading. You see, I actually read upwards of 4 hours every single day. And yep, you heard that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we've got 24 hours in a day. 20 hours I spend them do whatever. 4 hours I dedicate them to myself, my own self-education, my learning, how I am, able to come up on this podcast with information just predicated on what I would have just heard from a client, and we can spend 30 minutes talking about that particular topic. It's because I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm sharpening the axe 4 hours every single day. But how do I accomplish this 4 hours every single day? You're probably sitting there and you're like, nah, it ain't all about that. And I understand. And when I started, it was like that. So this is how I read. I read for 30 minutes, right? And for that 30 minutes, your brain can only concentrate for 25 minutes. All right. So within that 25 minutes, I set an alarm, not alarm, or just my timer, and I use what's called the Pomodoro method. So I read for 25 minutes and I reward myself for 5 minutes. Okay. So this is what I do in that 5 minutes. I probably get up and go play with my girls, or I, fill up my water jar, or I go and grab a coffee, or I grab a snack, or I just go and have a chat with my wife. And, since I'm working from home, I'm actually involving them in my day-to-day activity, And once I'm done with that 5 minutes, I come back again. So my brain now is looking, okay, we want to do all those things, connecting with the family, going to grab a snack, but we have to endure the 25 minutes of reading. So guess what your brain does, or your ego actually humbles itself for that 25 minutes, knowing that it's going to get a reward. And that's how your brain works. And if you understand that concept in and of itself, you can utilize it on a lot of things. That's the reason why you can sit in an 8-hour flight knowing that you're going to be at a destination that you love. That's the reason why women can be pregnant for 9 months knowing that they're going to have the bundle of joy at the end of the whole course. So your brain works towards a reward situation. That's the reason why even with sex, whatever we eat, there's a reward mechanism tied up to anything. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do anything that we're doing. So why are you're already utilizing that law of reciprocity with yourself, and that exchange where you do something and then your brain rewards you with dopamine and things of that nature. If you understand that concept in and of itself, you'll be able to utilize it in your business and use that reward and feedback mechanism to do more, have more, and become more. A lot of us don't quite understand that, and if you just knew that concept, you will be able to endure just about anything in your entire life. So if you find out how you love to be rewarded, how I think it needs to start off with your language of love. What is the actual thing that makes you tick? And if you can reward yourself with that particular thing at the end of any hard and gruesome task, you, my friend, you'll be able to lift weights, you'll be able to run marathons, you'll be able to just do just about anything, because your brain knows I need to endure this, and at the end of it all, I'll be able to get a reward. And you'll be able to endure any sales calls. You'll be able to endure any hardship in business, knowing that you're going to get a reward at the end. Okay, so I got a question for you. How did it feel the last time you actually received maybe some positive comment or feedback from a client? I take all those positive feedback and I plaster them everywhere else because they're far and they're few and far in between. You know what I mean? The effect that it actually has on me is I need to constantly be seeing that positive reinforcement to know that I'm going the right direction. What effect does it have on you when a client says, "Oh my God, you did the amazing work," or they do a video for you, in form of a testimonial? Does it actually improve the work you do, or does it improve your day, or does it improve your mood, or even your confidence? That's dopamine working because the excitement hormones are being released, and you want to have more of that cocktail happening in your brain. You won't even need coffee as long as you've got a balanced amount of those cocktails happening in your brain. So a detailed positive feedback can actually help you feel better about the work that you're doing and build your confidence. Because if you don't have confidence in the work that we're doing, you might show up trying to help people with their health or their wealth or relationships. They already are down, on their luck, and you need to literally have so much positive energy in order to bring them, to the level that you are. Otherwise, they'll bring you down to their level and they'll beat you with the experience because you're not used to the depressive moments that they have. So you need to constantly be, your own cheerleader. You need to constantly be the one that really edges yourself on. And if you're not getting any feedback from others, you don't need to wait for it, all right? You can actually acknowledge yourself for your wins, and you can actually start running your business from a space of confidence, of inner strength and intuition, because success leaves clues. And guess what happens? Your brain will just be seeking places where you succeeded before, and then just give you that as the intuition that you then end up having and the answers to maybe the questions that you might have. All right. So if you don't question yourself, and if you're not insecure and you're confident in the way that you're doing because you're giving yourself positive reinforcement, you, my friend, can literally, be head and shoulders above anybody else who's insecure and who's selling the same products as you in the marketplace. And the good news is, you won't even depend on anyone else to do it for you. And if you can now be able to be your own cheerleader, you, my friend, you be able to literally, create for and relate to the audience that you're going to be demanding your money, demanding money from. Okay. All right. So there's always people that are high achievers. All right. I want you to note this healthy of constantly seeking this achievement and also constantly seeking approval from other people is not healthy. I mean, regardless of the size of your accomplishment, you should actually take time to recognize it, relish it, and figure out how you can replicate some, if not all, of the steps in the future of your business. Because maybe you just closed a client right now. Maybe you've been cold calling potential clients and you've been having them hang up in your face. And then you call one last person and then they literally sit down with you, answer all your questions, and they then buy from you. Wouldn't you want to retrace the steps that you took in order for you to replicate that success over and over and over and over again? You know what I mean? So your brain's reward system will automatically help you do this. I mean, if you let it do its work. So even better, you can actually easily boost yourself and your brain to prepare for more success. I mean, all too often, coaches and consultants will normally interrupt the workings of their brains, especially the reward system, either by ignoring these feel-good natural chemicals that I'm talking about, and becoming addicted to stress, becoming addicted to wanting to do all the work themselves. And, obviously this causes troubles for a lot of coaches and consultants and maybe their team members, because now who wants to work with somebody who's constantly stressed, somebody who's never grateful of all the work that is being done. Every single Monday I rally my teams together, and I'm just talking to them on Zoom, and I'm appreciating everything that they've done for me, for the business. I'm just making them appreciate each other for all the work that they're doing, and really acknowledging the work that they are working on. And I've noticed half of the time, maybe we've got bad months and I've been a little bit late in paying them. Nobody comes knocking on my door saying, hey, we want our money. Why? Because they appreciate everything that I do for them, because I also appreciate them. Okay, so you literally have to understand how the whole dopamine feel good chemical works in order for you to actually get more out of people and get more out of yourself. Okay, because the more we get this pleasure, the more people would actually want to follow through with what it is that you're doing. Okay, at the end of the day, so many of us are stuck working in systems and processes that are no longer serving us. But the fact that we're getting the results that we were we were praised on, or somebody appreciated that, oh my God, that is quite a nice looking website, and we haven't wanted to change it just because we got some sort of positive feedback, even though it doesn't work for us. So I'm going to give you 7 steps for you to actually reward and recognize yourself for the efforts that you are going through. Because if you develop a file of client feedback and testimonials, you could always flip through it or look at it in days when you feel down on your luck. Because every time you get a positive feedback from your clients, however small it might be, whether it's via email or maybe a phone call, or maybe you've got a feedback survey in your business, you want to put it in a folder, all right? Or you want to put it in a hard drive where you can just go through it on the days you're not really feeling well. You want to access this folder anytime you're feeling doubtful or unsure and just want to pick me up. And you can do that for yourself. That way you have the confidence to show up. Even if you're sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, you will receive one email that would say, hey, thank you, you've saved my day. Save that email so that it reminds you of the times that things haven't been working well, and you can keep moving forward, all right? Because your brain is always looking for these reward patterns, all right? And your brain pays attention to what it did to deserve that feel-good moment. And that includes the brain actually calculating what's needed to repeat that action to move towards achieving those goals. So the dopamine also plays a role in regulating your attention, your learning, and your movement. That way, when you start feeling sorry for yourself, your brain will tell you, nope, we've been here before. We have actually achieved this goal. So that's why it's very important to stop and appreciate what you have done, and actually reward and recognize yourself for the efforts that you are putting out there, because it's not easy. All right, you're talking about people who are just selfish. You're talking to people that are looking, for solutions that will help them become healthier, richer, thinner, better, than other people. So it's all transformational work, which takes away a lot of your energy, and it all depends on the client's will to actually succeed. And half of the time we're not as successful as we would want to as coaches, and that just gives us a bit of a downer. But if you have that feedback loop that you can go to, or that folder that I was talking about, that you can actually review every now and again, your brain will start recognizing the patterns that get you the right results that you want, and you can trick your brain into getting what you want. So I urge you to ask for client feedback when you actually get the success that you have promised them, especially maybe when you're finished working with them, all right? It's important to know what your clients loved and what they didn't, and how you actually helped them, and what impact you actually, made in their lives. So you can also gain insights that can help you serve new clients. Not only will you get information on how they actually explain their problem, but you're actually getting that feedback, which feeds your dopamine and it actually then gives you the reward seeking mechanism in your your head, so that when you literally get the results that you're working for. So dopamine releases when you actually achieve your goals, okay? And at the end of the day, you want to be achieving a lot more of your goals. You want to be creating so many instances of success than there are instances of failure. So sometimes we might forget all the things that we're doing because it's a whole different world trying to help other people be, do, and have a happier existence. If you're not jotting down your daily accomplishments, or if you're not jotting down the little successes that you have towards the big success, then you're missing out on important opportunities to actually reward yourself. All right. So I call these little successes accessories. If you look at your outfit right now, you're probably wearing a watch, you've got cufflinks, you've got, a hat or things of that nature, or maybe you're wearing your sports attire and you're walking your dog or things like that. Any piece of clothing that you have is like an accessory that contributes towards your whole outfit. So as with success, little bits of successes that you achieve along the way, you want to celebrate those. Okay, that 9-letter word that I couldn't count or spell at the beginning of the podcast is very, very important. So that's the reason why you have to like I do, I buy a yearly diary, right? And I just leave it on the side of my table. I'm actually looking at it right now while I'm talking to you. So each and every day, I write all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, like meditation, learning, reading, podcasts, things like that. And every time I read, I put a tick on there. And even though at the end of the day, I actually go through it and I notice, wait a minute, look at this. This is absolutely amazing, the amount of work that I've actually accomplished, because sometimes we feel like maybe no one wants to buy what we're selling. And, when you rely on your business to put, food on the table or pay rent, it might put an emotion, and a lot of stress on you. But if you look back throughout the day of the things that you have achieved, how many phone calls did you make? How many emails did you send out? How many responses did you get? If you actually document all of those little accomplishments, those little accessories towards your success outfit, you will notice that you're actually achieving a great amount of work, than when you're not recording it, because we can't remember all the things. Your brain is not wired to remember every moment or every instance. But if you document what you have done, the little daily accomplishments, you, my friend, will be able to pat yourself on the back, even if, the way you measure your success is not through, money in your bank or, the amount of clients that you've got, but you would know that you've done the work that actually matters, all right? So even if you don't have clients yet, you're probably still working your behind off, and you might not be feeling very good about it since you're not reaping any sort of rewards as yet. If you've completed a blog post, or if you've completed your new course outline, or maybe you've had a successful mini session that you maybe reached out to a potential partner or, potential client, not all of those wins, because if you don't, no one is going to come and knock on your house's door and remind you of what it is that you have actually accomplished. And we need to be grateful for the opportunity, because it's a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to lie to you, my Internet Explorer friend. It's a gift to be able to start your own business and work according to, what you want and the times that you want. If you're wanting to live an inspired life while you're doing it, then you should know and understand and appreciate that it is a gift, because if it was easy, anybody else will be doing it. So in order for you to actually see the success that you are achieving, you need to start a gratitude list. Okay? At the end of the day, just do a quick recap. What went well? What could you have done better? What what are the 3 or 5 things that you're grateful of in the at the moment, and why? Because gratitude has actually shown us to make us happier human beings, and you keep focused on everything that is going right, instead of you just focusing on everything that could go wrong. You see, you could have had a really, really good day at work, you know what I mean? And then maybe on your way out, you drop something and then it breaks, and then you let that ruin the rest of your day. But you probably closed 4 or 5 deals, in your business, and you probably bought a property or whatever it is that you did. But that little thing can actually take over, and then you will start looking at your days based on the times when you were sad instead of the times when you were actually happy. So that's why you need to make sure that you reward yourself, and you want to do that immediately, especially when you start a project. You want to choose what milestones and decide how you want to celebrate them. Okay, so don't just save rewards for when you hit your ideal goal, because some projects might be 2 years long, 3 years long, and things of that nature. So that's the reason why every Monday I use that as a milestone, because, I meet up with my team. That's when we all are not talking about work, but we're just talking about the, what's going well in our lives. And that has seemed to actually be of benefit, to everyone that's involved, that's working with me. And they absolutely love their jobs. So make sure whatever you choose is actually motivating, to you and the people that you want to be doing this for, and especially enjoyable. Okay, nobody wants to continuously just talk about work, and things of that nature. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Okay, and at the end of the day, if you can't do it yourself, find an accountability partner, find a coach, find somebody who can help you, notice every now and again that you're doing amazing. All right. You need people that are positive minded, that you can check in with once a week or once a day, and see what you can celebrate with them. And being accountable to somebody else, even when it's simply just recounting your wins, allows you to acknowledge and celebrate them, because the more you repeat what you have done, your brain is taking notice. All right. And once it takes notice, guess what happens? It tries to replicate all of those scenarios, and you now have successful episodes most of the time. Okay. All right. So all of this is all to do with practicing self-care, self-recognition. They all work in tandem. You can't do well if you're not feeling well. So your thoughts, your energy, you always want to put your mood in check so you can handle the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. All right. So how do you actually recognize or reward yourself, as a coach or consultant? I really want to know, what do you do for yourself? So, in the community, just write in the comments below this podcast, or just reply to the email that came with this podcast. Let me know how you recognize yourself and reward yourself as a coach or consultant, and what would you like to do more of? I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with this information. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au